So therein we hear about Krishna's flute. Now, in my studies, I came to understand there's three principal kinds of flutes used by Krishna. There's the Venu. This flute is very small, not more than 6 inches long, with 6 holes for, it's described, whistling. That's how it's described in the scriptures. 6 holes for whistling. Then there's the Murali. Murali is about 18 inches long, with a hole at the end and 4 holes on the body of the flute. And it's described, this kind of flute produces a very enchanting sound. Then there's the Vamsi. The Vamsi flute is about 15 inches long with 9 holes in its body. Now, all these flutes are often bedecked with jewels. Sometimes they're made of marble, sometimes they're made of hollow bamboo. And when the flute is made of jewels, it's called samohini. And when the flute is made of gold, it's called akarshini. Now, an interesting point is that Krishna plays different melodies on these flutes for different purposes. I didn't know this, but it's really nice. He plays different melodies on his flutes for different purposes. And actually, there's a specific order that he plays the melodies in to accomplish these different purposes. His first melody, because he plays different melodies for different purposes. So his first melody that he likes to play causes demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva to break their meditation. And they forget everything in astonishment. With this first melody, it's described, Lord Anantadev sways his head like he's hypnotized. And the second melody that Krishna comes up with makes the Jamuna flow backwards. His third melody makes the moon stop moving. His fourth melody makes cows run to him and become stunned just by hearing the flute. And the fifth melody, which actually we often refer to as a note, attracts the gopis and makes them come running to him. And the sixth melody makes stones melt and creates the autumn season. Isn't this wonderful? The seventh melody that he plays, specifically, manifests all seasons. And the eighth melody is meant exclusively for Srimati Radharani, in that it's described, it takes the form of her name and calls for her. So Krishna also has a flute named Mahananda. It looks like a fish hook. It's described that captures the fish of Srimati Radharani's heart and mind. Another flute which has 6 holes is known as Madana Jankriti. And in Radha Krishna Gunadisha Dipika, it's described that Krishna has a flute called Sarala, which is very unique. This flute makes a very low, soft tone, like the sound of a softly singing cuckoo. Here in India, we hear the cuckoos, and you can hear them, especially in the morning, singing very softly. So this Sarala, it makes a low, soft tone, like the sound of a softly singing cuckoo bird. And Krishna really likes this flute. He's very fond of playing this flute in the ragas of Gaudiya and Gajari. I don't know those ragas, but those of you who are connoisseurs of music, Gaudiya and Gajari, he uses that flute for that purpose. Now, an interesting phenomena of Krishna's flute playing is that the sound of the flute can only be heard by the person or the party for whom it's intended. Krishna plays for a particular person or a particular group, and only those persons or that person can hear. This is the mystical nature of Krishna's flute playing. He's the master of all mystics. For example, If Krishna plays his flute for his cows, only the cows can hear it and no one else. And if Krishna plays his flute for the gopis, only the gopis can hear it and no one else. And when the gopis hear the sound of Krishna's flute, they often abruptly leave their household duties and run out to meet Krishna in the forest. And I was reading, other family members can't comprehend what suddenly happened to the gopis and where they went to. They couldn't hear it. Like, where are you going? Why? I was reading that sometimes a gopi is only like halfway through cooking a roti, for example, and when she hears Krishna's flute. So she runs out of the house, leaving her husband waiting for the roti to arrive on his plate. But the husband couldn't hear the flute, so he doesn't know what's going on. Really mystical. Only Krishna can do this. For cows, Krishna, he uses the flute. For cows, Krishna sits atop, we've discussed many times, Krishna sits atop, for example, a tree at Terkadamba. That's where Nanda Maharaja's original barn is, or Goshala. So when it's time for the cows to come home, there's lots of Kadamba trees there at Terkadamba. So Krishna climbs up a tree at Kadamba tree, and he plays his flute to call all the cows home. But with his flute, he actually calls each and every one of them by their names. He can play their names on his flute. So he plays the names like that, like Chandrika, Devali, Ivali. These are some of the names that I remember of Krishna's cows. And when he plays his flute for each cow, he plays their name. Only that cow is able to hear her name. Only that cow is able to hear her name. All the other cows can't hear. She hears it through the sound of Krishna's flute. And I was reading, she gets delighted to hear her name being called by Krishna and comes running towards him. So we can see that Krishna's flute plays a very integral part in his pastimes. So much so that he's known by names based solely, how could you say, on his relationship with his flute. Like, for example, he's famously known as Venu Gopal, Bansi Lal, Murali, and Murali Dhar. These are names connected to his flute, like that. So now, what else? Oh yeah, in Vrindavan, the flute is Krishna's only paraphernalia, his significant paraphernalia. He has a buffalo horn, he has a stick, but they're just kind of used once in a while. The Acharya says his flute really is his only paraphernalia. Like when he's in Dwarka or Mathura, he has weapons like bows and chakras and things like that. What is it? When he has a bow, he's Danodara. When he has a chakra, he's Chakradhari. But when he has his flute, he's Venudhar, Vamsidhar. What would Krishna be without his flute? Sometimes you see they take the flute out, the pujaris, the lords on the altar, for him to take prasadam. And sometimes I've seen they forget to put it back in. I've seen a few occasions. You're like, wait a minute, where's Krishna's flute? He's Venudhara, Vamsidhara. So his favorite instrument, obviously, is the flute.